You listen to the Erris Journal podcast for Risha Scott, and joining me on the show today is Latisha McCrudden. Latisha is a truly inspirational young lady and a past pupil of St. Brendan's College here in Belmullet, who has recently won a Special Achievement Award at the National Garda Youth Awards for her contributions to her community. And I'm absolutely delighted to have you on the show today, Latisha, so thank you so much for your time.
And I'm delighted to be here.
Well, firstly, I'd like to talk about your childhood. So you had a health scare at 9 years of age that shaped the person you are today. So can you tell listeners about that?
So yeah, what had happened when I was 9, and then I had my surgery then in Belmullet Hospital when I was 10. So for a good few months previously, I was experiencing extremely bad headaches. Like, I'd have to go home from school, I'd fall asleep. I could visit my nanny and granddad and have to ask my nanny could I go down and lie down in their bed. It was like I was just falling asleep everywhere. My eyes would go really glossy, and just it wasn't normal for a 9-year-old. So my mum got in contact with the GP, and I had an appointment with him, and he transferred me over to Mayo General Hospital then. So I had CT scans first, and they could see blurs showing up on my head. So they brought me for MRI scans then. And I suppose at the age that I was, they wanted to be just definite that I hadn't moved or anything while taking the MRI. So they brought me back for one more scan with dye through my veins. And they rang my mum the next day then, and they said that, no, there's a tumour on Latisha's left side. So it was on the skull bone on my left-hand side, and they said we need her up in Beaumont in the next 2 days to do urgent surgery, because they didn't know was it going to be cancerous or non-cancerous. So I went up on the Wednesday, and I had surgery then on Friday morning. And then the following Friday I was back for results, and I was diagnosed with fibrous dysplasia. So it's a disease that weakens and erodes the good bone in your body. So it sort of puts a normal fibrous kind of tissue onto the healthy bone. So obviously you were diagnosed with a long-term illness at that time, but it was the best news that I could have got at that time, because that morning I could be told that I could have had cancer or anything. So
Exactly.
at least it was a benign tumour. But, I just keep check up now, and I just know myself. I keep an eye on my health now, that I know myself that a tumour could grow, and I get my checkups yearly and that, just to make sure that no more tumours are there.
What a scary time that must have been for your family.
Yeah, I was scared. I'm glad I was the age that I was then, because I wasn't fully sure what was happening at the time. So at least it'd be definitely a lot more stressful time for me if I knew if it was happening to me at the minute.
Well, so true. Well, tell me about your dream to become a solicitor and why you chose that particular career path.
Well, I think I've literally had the dream of being a solicitor since about the age of 6. It's been something there. It was either senior infant or first class, and I said, I want to be a solicitor when I'm older. And I think people agreed with me at that point, even because I was quite vocal, and if I believed in something, I'd go head to toe for what I believed in. So They said she'd be a good one for the courtroom. So I think it was just like, people class me as an activist now, but I think in my mind I always had that in me, because I liked the idea of sticking up for people. Have you ever seen a child being bullied in the playground or in the schoolyard? Even at that time, you'd always mention it to the teacher that I just liked the idea of sticking up for people and to try and bring much of a positive change as possible. So, and I know myself, I'm in my degree now, the last this semester's nearly over already. It's going that quick. And I know that in the future, it's just not going to be like work for me. You'll know that I look forward to it every day and meeting new different people, and every case would be something different. So it would be a job that you couldn't really get too bored in either.
Well, that's what they always say. You'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do. Well, you're 19 now, and as you said, you're doing your degree, you're studying law at the University of Galway. So to get a place in that course, it would have taken a lot of hard work and dedication. So take me through your journey through secondary school and also all the extracurricular activities you took part in.
Yeah, so I suppose I was one of the serious children going into first year. Like, I knew what I wanted out of it, so I knew I wanted to put in as much effort from day dot. And I suppose that would have been showcased in the extracurricular activities, especially that I done. So straight away, I was only in the school about 3 months, and there was Side Fest going happening in school first, and then there was an opportunity to compete in Side Fest in Sligo. So I said, I was doing the karate since 4, so I nearly had 10 years doing karate at that stage. I said I'd love to do a project now, something to do with sports, and then hopefully, as the project continued on to more being female athlete side then. So I done a project called The Future of Sport. And with that project, I competed in Society Fest in Sligo twice. Then had to do a big application form, and I got news after Halloween in second year that I got to compete. Then I was going to be able to go on and compete in BT Young Science in Dublin in the RDS.
Wow.
And when people were coming around your stalls and that at that time, and I got interviewed by the TDs and that when I was up in BT, and I got invited to DCU in Dublin then, and UL in Limerick for that project as well. So it was a journey that ended up being, I'll just do this project now and it'll be fun and there'll be something to do. And it ended up being a 3-year-long project in the end.
Wow.
And I had a population of over 1,000 people. So it was definitely, it was a big commitment at that time. And then I was involved with green schools and primary schools. So that obviously continued on. So I was in green schools throughout all of secondary school. And then third year, my science teacher at the time said, there's this climate ambassador program, and it's like the national program for climate justice in all in the country. And I think you'd be really good, and I'll nominate you and reference you. And I got accepted onto that program. And then at the end of that year, so it would have been 2020, then I received the Outstanding Achievement Award for the work that I'd done throughout that year on the program. And then in TY as well, I suppose we had COVID, so you couldn't do as much as you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I completed my Gashka bronze, and I'm doing my Gashka silver at the minute. And I done my John Paul II award as well. And then I suppose education-wise, I did get all my A's and distinctions in the junior cert and my distinction in my transition year programme. And I suppose my leaving cert worked out that I got to go on and do the career that I want to do now in college.
That is absolutely amazing to be able to study so hard and do all these extracurricular activities at the same time. Most mammies have trouble getting their kids to do the homework. So you're absolutely amazing. Well, you mentioned the karate there. So it wasn't all work and no play for you. Karate was a passion for you. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
So I've been doing karate since the age of 4 now. So I couldn't imagine my life now without karate. I can't remember when I didn't do it. And karate in one way has definitely kept me grounded, and it's definitely kept me going. Like, I'll speak about it later, but as a domestic abuse child survivor and growing up with, then when I was there in my teenage years, I would have struggled very bad with my mental health, and karate was the one thing that was constant in my life. There was a few years there where everything seemed to be going downhill, and you always could rely on karate, and karate was the thing you could say, well, I'll have my 2 training sessions a week or my 3 training sessions a week. I'll have my good friends there. And it's all, when you have a passion, it's very easy to do well in something then that you have a passion with. So like I'm a first dan black belt now in karate, but I want to get a second dan black belt next year now. And I've competed nationally and internationally with karate, and I definitely say if I didn't do karate, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I've met such amazing people in Ireland and abroad, and I've met my best friends are from karate, so. And it's always say if you have something in common and like-minded people, you'll always get on well. So it's obvious then why they're my best friends then.
When you finish your degree, you already have a guaranteed job in a solicitor's. So how did that come about for you?
Well, I got confirmation of that last July, so July 2022. It was just after I got the National Education Award at the Traveller Pride Awards in Smithfield in Dublin. And I suppose there was a good bit of publicity going about. And I had spoken on the Tommy Marin show on the Shannon Side Radio FM then as well. And it's a solicitor in Roscommon town, so I'll be close to home as well. I always like that, to stay around and help people that, that helped me in my life. So that I'm glad that it's in County Roscommon still and, near it. So I'll have my County Roscommon and County Mayo people. And it just came from that. And I suppose then she done her research on me. And I suppose she seen that I had hard work and dedication and commitment. And, she's there. But she said she just hopes that I'll go to her and I don't go somewhere else in the future. So it's a good thing that I always have the security, because, some people have degrees and then there's no work. That's the good bit of motivation, going that once I have my degree, I've worked straight away. So it's brilliant.
Well, when you look at all these young people that have to leave the country to get jobs, so that's absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can still remember the relief, because that would always been a worry of mine. Like, I could get a degree and then I wouldn't like the idea of leaving home, like going very far away from home. So to have it in have a position there waiting for you in Connacht, it's amazing. So I'm delighted with it.
You're involved in loads of organisations and groups at the moment, so can you tell me about some of those?
Yeah, that's definitely where my activism comes in now. So there's a bit of a list now, so I'll just list them. I'm in the Irish Traveller Movement Youth Forum. I'm in the Minkeers Widden Youth Forum, the National Women's Council of Ireland, the National Youth Assembly of Ireland, Spun Out, and then since last December I'm involved in a SERV project, which is looking at the impact of COVID-19 on children across the country. So that's been a big commitment this year, and that's going to be national research. There's national launch in January, and then all the European countries will be able to use that research for, in case, if there was ever a pandemic in the future, they know how to maybe not make the wrongs that were made this time. And then in college, I'm the first year representative on the Law Society, the president of the Politics Society, the vice president of the Minkeer Widden Society, and I'm class representative on the Student Union as well.
Wow. And of all your achievements, what are you most proud of?
I wouldn't be able to say I'd have one exact moment, but I think that I was 10 years working to get my black belts in karate. And, it was the little girl was fulfilled in me in the day that I got my black belt. And so that was definitely one of them. This year then I sat down with my grandparents, Martin and Bridget McCrudden, and they've played such a massive part in my life. And, they're always people that I've looked up to and admired, and I truly love and respect them. So I done a story on their life, and I got that into the Western People and there was Common Hurl. So that was such a proud moment to have, be able to see my nanny and granddad reading about their life in the paper. Because, some of their hardships alone would have been, they've lost 3 of their children. So, and you wouldn't imagine it at all. They always have the smile on their faces, and they've made such a big impact in my life. And I wouldn't be the person I am without them. So that was really a proud moment of mine. And I think reality as well, the struggle that I've had, especially when I was around the age of 14 and 15, I had such a massive struggle with my mental health. And I think the fact that I didn't give up on myself and I pushed on with our time, there was times there, in reality, my mom Susan would be the only one that knew how low I was. And a time where you're literally waking up every day and you wish that you didn't wake up. That's how low it was. You didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I went to Peterhouse for 4 months, and COVID came around then at that time, and I just focused on myself and done things that made me happy. And, there was a time where I didn't think I'd be here. So that's definitely one of the proudest things, that I didn't give up on myself and I kept pushing. Seek out the help. There's so much help there. I done work with Jigsaw as well. There's so much help. Create a house. Speak to people you trust. There's so much help. I know at one time I thought that there was no point in life, but there's just so much help there, and to never give up on yourself.
You've your eyes set on the Dáil as well and becoming a TD. So what changes would you like to make in Ireland in that role?
I think one of the biggest things, and I hope when I do go for 2028 election that I'll have backing and support on it, one of the biggest things that I want to bring such a change in this country is on domestic abuse. As a domestic abuse child survivor myself, the change that's needed in this country, until you go into it and until you actually leave a domestic abuse household and you get involved with family law and you get involved with the court systems and the justice system around domestic abuse, you'd realise there's nearly no legal system when it comes to domestic abuse survivors, either as a woman or a man, or the children that are involved in that household. And I want to bring such a change around that on so many different levels, on regional and national level, and just that there will be, I think, Mary, that the way it is, you're abused at home, and the court system is a playground again for your abuser to abuse you again, and it's enabled, and it's just ridiculous. So I want that to change massively. I think I'm very coming from a minority community, and coming from, didn't come from a lot of money, and you didn't come from a lot of prosperity and things like that. And I've seen the hardship in life. I've seen people that are struggle. I'd be a voice for the minority, and not this, the privilege of the country. I bring a change for the people that need it the most. And, I'd be very much community based. My main priority would give back to the people, that have given something to me in life. And, when I was going through my hardships, the people that have helped me, and family and non-family, they've been absolutely amazing to me. So definitely domestic abuse, and having a country that's fair and equal for all would be definitely two of the main things. But overall, I just hope to make as big as an impact as possible if I do get the chance to become a TD in 2028.
Well, you mentioned your grandparents there, who were obviously big role models for you. So who else would have been role models in your life?
I never had to go very far for my biggest inspiration. My biggest inspiration in life for forever how long I'm here will always be my mum, Susan. And my mum she's a picture of strength, of dedication and resilience. And, the times that she's had, she's always been the best mother possible to me and my sister, Talisha. And even at times when she'd given up on herself, she never gave up on me and Talisha, and she kept pushing through with her own self for the fact to give me and Talisha the opportunities that she didn't have growing up, and to make us, she'd always say, I'll always be happy when you and Talisha make it, and you and Talisha have the life that I want you to have and you deserve. So my biggest inspiration will always and ever be my mom. And, I always tell her how, she says, I wouldn't be where I am without you. And I always say I wouldn't be here without my mom either. So we've been through a lot together, but she'll always be my number one. And then I think another woman that has made such an impact in Ireland, and she'll always be, I think, our sporting hero will be Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor defied so much odds. She had an Olympic dream before, there was no female boxing in the Olympics, and she wanted to be an Olympic. I think that's dedication and, and prosperity in itself. And I love watching Katie Taylor's documentary. It's just called Katie, and it's on RT Player. And she always said it was about the time that she stopped talking to her father, and she says she knew when doing that decision it was going to lose her lot, but the biggest success in everything in life would never be anything than her integrity. The thing that she values the most about herself is integrity. And that's something I'd put back on myself. It didn't matter if I was the President of Ireland, if I didn't have integrity, I wouldn't want it. So I always look at it like that. Katie Taylor has been, from the age of 4 or 5, she's always been someone I've admired, and I think I will for all my life, really. And I'd only hope someday that I'll be able to meet her in person. And then my final one, if I'm ever lacking any motivation, or if I ever had a bad day or something like that, would be the late Kobe Bryant, because Kobe Bryant done so much with his life, and it was such a devastating thing for him to pass away in 2020. And I always watch his clips on YouTube. And, from the age of 13, he had it in his mind of what he wants to do when he done it. And I know he always says this as well. There's other players that have spoken out about him since and said, Cole would be on he'd be on the court before they came, and he'd be on it after they came. And they used to ask him, like, why do you train so much? And he'd say, I always want to say, however hard you train, I'll train harder. And I think that's just a pure testament that, that's what I do. If I say, I'm tired now, but I want to reach to a certain level, and there's other people out there that are trying hard as well. And to be on top of the A game, and to be, to make it to where I want to make it, I know that I have to put 110% into every day that I do. So they're the 3 other people that I always look to for inspiration.
This week you won a Special Achievement Award at the National Garda Youth Awards. So can you tell us about that? Another amazing achievement that you've had.
So the Special Achievement Award, you have to have overcome the difficult circumstance and sort of defied the odds and whose commitment deserves recognition. So I suppose my biggest thing, three things that I've come over in my life would be being a domestic abuse child survivor, having the tumour removed on the long skull bone in my head, and also overcoming my mental health battle. And I suppose I try now my hardest to be a mental health ambassador in a slight tiny way, but just be a voice for people that are struggling with mental health, that, there's no stigma in having mental health problems.
No.
And it doesn't matter what age you're or, male or female, it doesn't matter entirely. And if I can help one person in mind, with mental health, that's why I'm so vocal on this, and I'm so vocal on my journey, and that I was so low at one point, but I am now. And it was just an amazing day, really. Like, it was in the Midlands Hotel in Portlaoise, and me and my mum and sister was there, and then we met three of the Garda from my county as well. And we just stepped down, and the award ceremony was on for just over the 2 hours, and then we had dinner as well, and it was just amazing, and to get the recognition for yourself, but also to hear everybody else's story. And it was just an overpowering day, and empowering for the future and motivation for the future. And some of the hardship stories that were there as well, and it was just great to see them, that they had defied the odds as well, and that they were pushing forward in life as well. And it was also great that one of the guards that were there, which she's a sergeant now, it was sort of a full circle moment in one way, because she would have been one of the sergeants that was seen, me at my worst when I was in a domestic abuse childhood, and while I was still in the home. And it was a full circle moment to see, she would have seen me at one of my lowest times, and then to have such an empowering and such a great day then on Saturday, it was a full circle moment that, there is bad days, but there's plenty of good days ahead as well.
Latisha, you're such an inspiration, a fantastic young lady. What advice would you give to young people going through school now, wanting to achieve their goals?
School can be a very hard time, and if you want to, it's okay when you're just going through school and have your friends, but if I know myself, I kind of always wanted to do something a bit different, and can be a very hard environment to be in school if you want to do something different. But I'd say they're only a few years of your life, and the people that truly like you, you'll always have them people beside you. Like, out of my school, out of my school years, coming from school, I have 3 friends, and them 3 friends are enough for me, And then I have my other friends in karate and other walks of life. But, just because you don't need to have the 20 friends and everybody to be, wanting to be your friend in school. I'd say focus on yourself. And if you really want to do something, to just do it. Because at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy will be, that's the end all and be all. And if you're going through a bad day, it won't be the person that you're thinking, oh, what will they think of me if I do this? They probably won't be beside you on your bad days. So just to go through that and, try and enjoy them years, because I know myself, life will get more challenging and stressful as I get older. But even the jump from, secondary school to college is so big, and, secondary school is really the time of your life in a certain way. And it's a way that, you can make such good friendships, and, you can be nice to your teachers and don't give them a hard time.
Yeah.
And, and if, the teachers are there to, they only want you to do the best. A teacher isn't, you're not going into a room with this teacher saying, well, I want this child to fail. They only want the best for you.
Exactly.
And I know I've met amazing, I classed them as friends, nearly, some of the teachers that I had, because I could always go to them with a problem if it was school or if it wasn't school. And I think that all just came back down to the fact, from the moment that I went into school, I respected my teachers. And once you give them respect, they'll give the respect back to you as well.
Well, Latisha, congratulations on all your achievements and well done on the Garda Youth Awards. And I tell you, if you become a TD, you definitely have my vote.